So I'm gonna pivot to the last segment of the show. It's gonna be on a little bit more of a positive note, right? Like perceived positive note. So
There we go.
let me do a quick screen share. It's something called the 5 F's of life. One of the first times I heard this and it resonated with me heavy was listening to ET's podcast when Jamal mentioned the pillars of life, the 5 pillars of life. But I actually was doing some digging and I found it somewhere else, and I thought that was pretty cool. It's a book on it, and it's the five.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it's a book on it, and I'm gonna check out the book, but I wanted to share with the folks on the podcast, on our show to just talk through it. And uh, uh, so this person wrote the book, let me see. And so faith, fitness, family. Uh, so it and I was and so then I went down a rabbit hole, like, and I saw people was doing different variations of the 5 F's of life. So I'm like, okay, so they have faith, fitness. This one has family, friends, finances. Well,
Mhm.
the one that I resonated more with was the one that Jamal remixed, is the faith, fitness, family and friends, finance, and freedom. Like, so that freedom bucket, where like that freedom slash fun bucket, right? Like where, lifestyle design, and going and doing the things that you want to do, charities, taking trips that you want to take trips on, just things that just fill your heart up, things that give you joy. Uh, but let's go through each one of them. And so I want to kick it to you on and let me see, I'll find the book. I'll find the book later. But
Mhm.
so when it comes to faith, and I was looking at some of these, I'm like, these days finance is pretty strong. Friends are okay. I can get better in that one. Family, I can always use work to keep, getting closer with family. Fitness, I feel like I'm finding my stride in fitness. Faith, I can use some work in there. So just transparent, on my end. And so just working, there's always work to do, right? So what about you? What do you see? What are your thoughts on the 5 F's of life? Does it resonate? Because it seemed like a pretty straightforward framework that you could use as a gauge, right? Like of what's important. What's important in life? Because sometimes you can go down IG rabbit holes, YouTube rabbit holes, the
Yeah.
controversial things. But I think this, like having that as a strong foundation of like just a quick check of like how am I doing in all these areas? I think it's a good measure. What are your thoughts on?
I think these type of systems are great because I'm the type of person that I try to live by systems. Like that's how I stay organized. That's how I organize my thoughts. That's when when I wake up, I'm like, okay, and my faith pillar. How can what can I do today? My fitness, family. And so, it's a good way for me to wake up or at the end of the day review that, okay, in this pillar, what did I do today? How can I improve? And so I really like this faith pillar that they put on this one. Now, it is a little different. The other ones, the friends, and I think the friends one is a new one. I hadn't seen that one before as a pillar. I think that's pretty cool. But I really like the faith one because I feel like sometimes, you can hear the faith one, and sometimes you can get a little thrown off. Like I don't want to really get into that religion stuff quite yet. Maybe the person's just not ready. But I like this definition here when it just says gets you through the bad times when everything seems impossible. Now, for a good amount of people, that is religion, but it doesn't have to be.
Yeah.
It could be a part of it, but I like this definition in that it just says because we all going to go through bad times, regardless of what we all that's just a part of the human experience. But what do you
Right.
do that helps you get through that and connect connect yourself to the good times on the other side? And so for me, I think that's the area that even when all the other ones might have been, wherever they were, I think that one's always been pretty solid for me. And I think that's a result of, having a good support system. And just from the beginning, just my watching, I feel like my mom has always you know, our mom
Hmm.
has always been like that. Just always been positively, or at least that's always my takeaway from her. Just, you know, regardless of what's going on with life, she's gonna be in control of her mood. And so I'm
Yeah,
like, wow, like, you know,
yeah,
so that's powerful. I want that. I want to be able to do
yeah. That is a good. That is a great example. All right, so all right, what about this fitness pillar for you?
that. I ain't gonna lie, I could definitely be doing better, but I just had a pretty good 3 month stretch. I was locked in with a trainer, and so now I'm trying to figure out what I'm gonna do in my next city, and so I'm gonna find a new gym. I think I'm gonna continue with the trainer because it was a difference. I definitely noticed a difference. And then I'm also gonna try to build some stuff at home. Not try. I'm gonna not build, but just get like some dumbbells or something. I don't know.
Yeah,
But yeah, food wise though, I've been getting a little crazy with the sweets. But overall though, we tend to eat pretty good. We try to cook at home most nights, like at least 5 to 6 nights a week. So that's why I say some people don't cook.
yeah,
And so but yeah, family wise, I mean I think of two family, you know, your internal family, you know, your household, I guess, and then your external.
right.
Household wise, I feel pretty good. You know, I think that the future is bright, and I'm just embracing my role as the person who's guiding us and navigating the ship and making sure that, you know, I clear obstacles for us and guide us towards the right path. And then friends is interesting because I really don't have that many friends. And I don't want to say that to be, you know, everybody says that trying to sound cool or different, like oh, I'm a loner, but and I don't want to say it to offend people because I do have friends. I got a lot of friends, you know, of course, you know, through high school, college. It's a lot of people that I'm cool with, but I don't really hang out with a lot of people. Just because I don't really have a lot of time. You know, a lot of us are busy. It's not
Yeah,
like college where, you know, you finish class and then afterwards you just, you know, it's whatever. But I will say, I think this when my friends are focused more on quantity, no, not quantity, excuse me, quality over quantity because I think that your friends like this. I think it's cool that they add this to their pillar system because
yeah,
friends can really be a difference maker. That's your network. They can really lift you up or be what is tying you back to your old life and not
right,
letting you evolve.
right, right, right. Yeah, man. Yeah. So yeah, I thought that that this would be thought provoking to share the 5 F's in life. Now let's talk about that money. Like, hey, now we coming full circle. We talked about everything. Let's talk
Yeah,
about that money. How we looking on that money
yeah.
side?
I would say that was the last one, right? Finances.
Yep.
Yep. Man, I think what you said something earlier that really resonated. I think it was during the layoff part when you was talking about when you got your emergency fund built up. And I was just like, yeah, man, like ours isn't fully built up, but it's about 2/3 of the way there. But it's just such a difference maker when it's like when little habits pay off because it's in the moment when it's just a way of life. You know, you go from frivolous, I don't want to say frivolous spending, but it's like anything else, like with eating or you have to put in a conscious effort. And the hardest part is at the beginning. The hardest part is going, you know what? I want something different. I'm going to put a system in place. Every time I get paid, we're going to do this. And we're going to save X amount of money. I'm going to save X amount of money. You have to choose not to be comfortable because me and my partner, we were having a conversation the other day. I told her, I said, man, you know what we're doing is a little weird. I think it's kind of what Dave Ramsey saying in his videos. He said, you're weird. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I was like, wow, like no credit card debt, no student loan debt, no mortgage, no. I mean, the mortgage ain't bad. But I'm just saying we just haven't done that yet. But no debt. I mean, it's nothing. And then got a good amount of money saved up. I'm like, wow. That's why when we did that net worth topic the other day, I was like, wow, like that's just such a crazy difference. And so, and I feel like a lot of our people might not get to start that way. I feel like a
Yeah.
lot of our people end up, in
Negative.
the red,
Yeah.
um, for whatever reason. It doesn't matter why, but it just is. Um, but this isn't about them. This is about me. I'm talking about my finances. My finances, I feel pretty good. I don't want to get into too much about my my career. I don't know when it's gonna get released. Who's gonna see that? But all
Yeah.
I'm gonna say is what you said about having an emergency fund funded makes a difference. I'm gonna say that it definitely makes a difference to where you're able to plan a transition with a lot more ease and peace of mind, if you get what I'm saying. Now, of course, everything ain't, kind of like what I was saying earlier, 100,000 just because you got it, like, that ain't, it ain't sweet. You still have to work, but you're able to step back and say, like you said, either take a lower paying job and just keep the bills paid and protect yourself from eating up that
Yeah.
emergency fund, or you can take a month or two and say, hey, how much am I worth? Like, how much am I worth?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, yeah, no, that's good, man. Just wanted to get your perspective on it. Everything is moving on the finance tip for me, as always. I mean, I'm always dollar cost averaging into the market, working on some side things as well, and in addition to things going well at the J. So like it just it never stops, man. And so like this is for we make this content for the audience who want to keep pushing, want to keep doing the best, want to become the best version of themselves for themselves first and foremost, so they can show up to the best of their ability for their families and their friends, their communities, their charities, and all the things, and so but if that doesn't resonate with you and you want to fight for, making 30,000 and 40,000, and you want to stay in that space, unfortunately, I honestly don't really have much to share with you, but also your stance is okay too. It just doesn't resonate with the crowd, where we're going and what we're doing, and the crowd that we're looking to attract and encourage while they're on their journey.
Yeah. Okay, I got a quick question, and maybe this might be another video, so don't let me know. So I'm curious, about on the finance tip. So kind of like how you were saying, what do you find yourself doing differently from your peers, whether at your job or just among your age range, or in your location, your friends? What do you find yourself doing differently in terms of your expenses? Because I'm sure you have people that's either earning, they're earning high, low, a good
Yeah.
range of incomes. But what do you find yourself doing differently in terms of how you're spending it out? And like this might be another video, so the people might stay tuned because I'm curious. I'm sure they might be curious as well. But
Yeah.
can think on it.
Yeah. So I'm gonna answer that question. So where I find well, one, I don't really care to compare myself to others, but what I found what I have just observed without judgment is, my wife and I, we're lean. Like, we save slash invest about 45 to 50% of our income. That
Mm.
is that right there in itself. I don't really know anyone around me that's doing that.
Did you learn that from someone around you?
No, I didn't.
Mm.
It was just reading and studying and just playing around with retirement calculators, playing around with retire early, the financial independence, retire early. But I really just like the financial independence part. And what I discovered when I seen people that were a part of the FIRE movement, they saved slash invested a significant portion of their income so they can get to their FIRE number, so they can live off the interest of their money. And most of them had relatively high incomes, but they were saving like a lot of their money, like investing a lot of their money. And they were and then they also started doing side hustles and all these other things because, and so when you're asking me about the expenses, one of the things is we just don't accumulate a lot of expenses. Like we stay fairly lean. Like the place that we stay in, could we could I be in a high rise right now? Like, you know, in a crazy looking loft or condo or something like that?
Yeah.
Absolutely, we could. But we are being strategic in that area. Like we didn't want to be house poor. It's just the two of us. So we didn't want to do that. When we purchase cars, we're weird in that regard because we typically we pay cash. And if we do get a loan, we usually pay it off within 6 months to a year. Year is a stretch for us, but we usually have it paid off in 6 months.
Yep.
When we take trips, if we put it on the credit card, we immediately pay it off. Like we don't carry balances. So like the behaviors that we built, we're weird. Like, but that's okay. You know what I'm saying? Like I know when people be like, you don't got no car, and it's not like I'm going around like I ain't got no car, no, like we just doing our thing, and somebody be like, man, that's nice. I bet that car no high. Like, oh no, we
Yeah.
don't have no car, no. I got the
Yeah,
top.
people just making comments and or ask a question, and like sometimes I won't, I don't know, sometimes I won't answer. Or like I think one day, 'cause I think I don't know if I shared on the money show, maybe that'll be another episode. But one day, long story short, crashed my whip and had to get another one. I just paid cash for it, and then but I mean I didn't go around flexing that, telling folks like, yeah, just drop X amount. But I mean, I just had to, and I didn't feel, like you said, I just didn't feel like carrying a note, But I thought about it. Like I said, I'm not saying like I'm better than. I thought about it for some reason, even though I had the money. I still was like, what if I put down a certain amount? And my girl was like, Keon, wow, don't do that. It's just dumb. You got the money, just do it. Um,
Yeah. Yeah. You know,
but
so yeah, I mean, you start to realize like, oh, everybody ain't doing this. Like, but that's okay. Like, we got to get out of this comparing ourselves to people that's operating sub stop comparing yourself to people that's average. Like if you're gonna compare yourself to someone that's doing well, like, and not in an envious way. Like, man, I aspire. I have friends that like, I'm like, man, they crushing it. Like I aspire, like one, I'm inspired. I don't necessarily want to be them, but like I'm
yeah,
like, man, like you inspire, you give me energy, like you make me want to
yeah,
continue to do better. Like, but why you have to justify your current position? Like, well, I'm better than most people. Well, most people are average. Like this community is us people that are not average. This community is people that's doing things where you might be the like when you walk around, when you go back home, like everyone looking at you crazy because you weird, but you looking at them like they weird because you like that, like my thing is we have to create the new norm. A lot of times we have been in situations, circumstances that are just absolutely dysfunctional, and it has become your norm. And you double down and you defend it like it's normal, and it's not.
yeah, man. Like a lot of I know this is the KB Money Show, and some people might be like, oh, that's all y'all talk about, money. And life ain't all about money. But man, shoot, money. I put like this: it's like life is a door, and just money is the key, and it's gonna unlock a lot of opportunities for you. And so we want to see the best for you guys. We want to see the best for ourselves, and we want to bring you along the journey of us improving ourselves. And I really hope that this touches you guys and inspires you guys. So please reach out. If you got any questions, please drop a comment. If you got, any questions or anything that you're dealing with, I feel like we could probably maybe do a segment on the KB Money Show. People do submissions or something like that.
Yeah,
That might be cool.
yeah.
But just in general, if you guys got any ideas or things that you want us to talk about, but we'll continue discussing our daily lives and bringing this content to you guys because, and it was part of the reason why I asked you that question about, the people around you and who you learn from, because that's I think I learned a lot of my habits from you. And so that's when I say, I look around like at my peers, I'm like, this is kind of weird what I'm doing. Like you have to fight the urge because this stuff is being marketed to you, and
Facts.
it's crazy.
Yep, yep, yep. Well, I think that's a good. I think that's a good stopping point for us. Thank y'all for tuning in. We appreciate y'all, and we will see you next week. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Catch you on the next one.